and the birds taking their flight, what is that symbolizing? You imagine being at a park and you got the birds peacefully on the ground chirping, and then some dog runs in the midst of them. What do? They scatter, they take flight. That's peace being taken from the earth. That's talking about Esau. Again, 2nd Ezra chapter 5 and the GNT, verse 5, or verse 4, after that, if God Most High lets you live long enough, you will see that country in confusion. Well, that's what Babylon means. But going back to Babal, confusion by mixing. Mixing of the people, mixing of heritage, nobody knows who they are, mixing of different philosophies, mixing of different religions, mixing of truth with lies. And if God Most High lets you live long enough, and again, you're not these virgin spirits that come on the earth for the very first time. You come back every third or fourth generation, and the angels don't know when or who's going to come back when. So the angel was basically saying, if God allowed you to come back during this time, you'll see that during this time, that light will begin to shine. And the night, as we read in the King James Version, verse 4 again, after that, if God lets you live long enough, you will see that country in confusion. The sun will suddenly start shining at night. That night was our darkness. Again, 1700s, 1800s, us being in a state of completely losing our identity, but then you started to have individuals that understood who we are. Again, a prime example, Nat Turner. The sun will suddenly start shining at night and the moon in the daytime. Blood will drip from trees, stones will speak, nations will be in confusion, the movement of stars will be changed. If we go back, or if we go to Daniel chapter 7, it speaks about that fourth beast changing the times and changing the seasons. Again, that's Esau, Edom. That's showing you who this is alluding to. And the blood dripping from wood and the stone speaking, that's really going into idolatry, different forms of idolatry and technology. And there's nothing wrong with technology. It has its place, but technology is Esau's God. And his main idol that he's created, that he's graven out himself, is that charisma, the mark that he plans to implant in everybody, that he thinks is going to give him a digital godhood. Him being Lord over you eternally in digital immortality. Verse 6 or verse 5, I wanted to read verse 5 and let it flow into verse 6. Verse 5, blood will drip from trees, stones will speak, nations will be in confusion. Again, showing you that this is speaking about the end times. The kings of the earth have been made drunk from the wine of Babylon the Great. That's that confusion. The movement of the stars will be changed. Verse 6, a king unwanted by anyone will begin to rule, and the birds will fly away. The birds will fly away. Again, that king that's unwanted by anyone, that's Esau, Edom, the biblical identity of the so-called white man. I mean, again, none of these nations got together and said, Mr. White Man, show how your standards of justice work, and we want to adopt that. Show us your ideologies. We want to adopt that. That's what we want to do. Show us your standard of morality. We want to be like. No, he imposed it on the people by force. And those birds flew away. There's peace being taken away. Again, imagine those birds at the park chirping, having a good time, and then some dog runs up, and what do? They scatter. Or some Cooper's hawk. They definitely flight then. Cooper's hawk or a goshawk, which we don't have goshawks down here in Georgia, but the Cooper's hawk is like the goshawk. They take flight. Peace being taken from the earth. As a matter of fact, let's get that. This is Revelation chapter 6. This is Revelation chapter 6, verse 4. And there went out another horse that was red. Esau came out red. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Esau was blessed with the sword. So there's always been people killing each other, which that started with Cain. Cain is the reincarnation of Esau is the reincarnation of Cain on the earth. And the Edomites are the descendants of Esau. Again, the biblical identity of the so-called white man today. And yeah, people have killed since Cain. You had killing in the earth, but not on the level since Esau, Edom came into power. Because what has he done? He's allowed everybody to have weapons. He's perfected the efficiency of the weapons. He's made it easier for people to get around and commit sin and crimes. Again, technology has its place, but he brings forth death. He brings forth destruction. And ultimately, it's taking peace from the earth. He's been given the knowledge to split the atom. And what did he bring forth? The atom bomb, the hydrogen bomb. And that's why the earth in these last days is getting ready to experience that nuclear destruction. That the remnant of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and those of our people scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, are getting ready to be delivered from. But first, we're preparing ourselves. As it tells us in Revelation chapter 19, the wife hath made herself ready. Ready how? Separating from this world. Nonetheless, what's the point? Peace being taken from the earth. That's what's being described in 2nd Ezra chapter 6, or 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 6, with those birds taking flight. Let's go back. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, 2nd Ezra chapter 5, verse 6. A king unwanted by anyone, because nobody wants Esau, and these nations are tired of him. They become hip to his lies. They become hip to his hypocrisy, his backhanded deals, his treaties he don't keep, his agendas. They become hip to it. This is why scriptures talk about the nations are mad. They're mad in an angry sense, but they've been made mad because that mad also means crazy. That's why they're so confused.